Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Ann Metcalf here, conscious eating, conscious living, our alchemical chat. And it is Sunday, April 4th, 2021. And I am in sunny Sawasan. The wind is blowing, and it is a little chilly. So let's just breathe in the earth energy. This is spring. The earth knows it's spring, the plants, the trees, the birds. Spring is life, new beginnings, and let's make 2021 a year of prosperity, abundance, abundance of kindness, sharing, and sharing just who we are. Just breathe into the earth and breathe out the joy and the gratitude for the gift of life each day. So today, it is Easter weekend, and it is celebration around the world. And you know me, I like to know a little bit about the history. And I've always been a bit confused about the Easter rabbit, the Easter bunny, and Easter eggs, because bunnies don't lay eggs, but they have bunnies and Easter eggs with Easter. So I did a little bit of research last night, so I'm going to share that with you. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. Some of the history where the Easter bunny comes from, where the Easter eggs come from, and originally, or one of the origins, is that it was a pagan symbol of spring and fertility that most likely merged with Christian traditions in the 17th century Germany. So the Christian holiday of Easter, which celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ, became superimposed on pagan traditions that celebrate rebirth and fertility. And that whole Christianity and what Jesus had sort of come to share with us was that we could be that light that he was. And it was a chance for humanity to awaken and kind of rebirth itself. And it's taken some time, and certainly in some areas of the world, it has certainly, we are in that place and space of awakening to the beauty and the love that we are. And then it's kind of across the Pacific Ocean, we've got Japan, and there it's a national holiday that's celebrated as the vernal equinox day, which we've just done last week. And they take time to visit the graves of their ancestors, and they have family gatherings. And in the Jewish celebration of Passover, uses the symbol of the egg in its tradition of the Seder plate that forms the centerpiece of the Seder table. And traditionally, Easter, there goes my drum. Traditionally, Easter the first Sunday after the first full moon, on or after the vernal equinox, which is the spring. And of course, we know that the rabbit or the hare, as it was sort of known in Europe, it's a symbol of fertility. As we well know, those little rabbits, they produce litters of little ones several times a year, not just once. And in Germany, the rabbit was the symbol of Oestra, the pagan Germanic goddess of spring and fertility. And that's when everything just wakens up. It's time for planting seeds. And there's a German fable of the white Easter hare called Osterhase, dating back to the 1500s. Children would make nests from their bonnets and caps and leave them outside in hopes that the Easter hare would lay colorful eggs inside of those well-behaved children. Eventually, Easter hare the tradition morphed into the Easter rabbit and today's Easter bunny. And it first arrived in America in the 1700s with German immigrants who settled in Pennsylvania. And they transported their tradition of an egg-laying hare called Osterhase or Osterhaus, pardon my pronunciation, and their children made nests in which this creature would lay its colored eggs. And believed also this pagan symbol of spring fertility merged with the Christian traditions in the 17th century. And the egg is actually a very ancient symbol of fertility, new life, and spring. And archaeologists have actually found evidence of egg symbolism dating back to 500 BC in Iran to the Zoroastrian holiday of Nowruz. And one of the customs of this holiday was to decorate, share, and eat eggs. And another origin story of the Easter egg, it starts in medieval Europe, but it may or may not have originated with Christians. And according to some, the first Easter eggs actually belonged to a different religious tradition. And many scholars believe that Easter had its origins as an early Anglo-Saxon festival that celebrated the goddess Estra and the coming of spring and a sense of resurrection of nature after winter. And some Christian missionaries hoped that celebrating the Christian holidays at the same time as the pagan festivals would encourage conversion to their faith, especially if some of the symbols carried over, and eggs were part of that celebration. And apparently eggs were eaten at the festival and possibly buried in the ground to encourage fertility. And another story connected to Christianity is that during the early days, when the rules for fasting during Lent were stricter, and Christians were not allowed to eat meat or any animal product, including cheese, milk, cream, and eggs. And what they would do is hard boil the eggs so they would last longer. And they would distribute them to the poor who were unable to afford the meat for their celebrations. And now, with the tradition of dyeing Easter eggs for the Easter Bunny, one of the earliest pieces of evidence in British history goes back to 1290 AD, when the household of Edward I had 450 eggs colored, decorated, covered in gold leaf to be distributed among the royal entourage for Easter. And today, the most famous ultra-decorated Easter eggs are the Fabergé eggs that were first presented to the Russian royal court in the late 19th century. And going back even further, in the early 13th century England, villagers brought gifts of Easter eggs to the Lord's Manor every holiday. And they also gave them to the church as a special offering on Good Friday. And there's evidence that the eggs were colored red to signify a couple of things. One, to signify the blood of Jesus Christ, and also to signify joy. And during the 19th and 20th century, Easter eggs became something to give to children rather than to the church, given to the poor or to the local authorities. And during the Victorian era, ideas around family life was changing, and the middle classes liked the traditional things, and there was a shift towards the family with an emphasis on rituals for children. And so hence the hunt for Easter eggs began and continues to this day with lots of chocolate. And for our American friends, in 1876, the first White House Easter egg roll took place. And so we have, let's see, we've got spring, we've got the equinox with its symbol of rebirth, new beginnings, the Easter bunny, and Easter eggs as historical and pagan symbols of spring and rebirth. And now we have this mix with chocolates and toys. And just a little FYI, Easter is the second best-selling candy holiday in America after Halloween. And according to the National Friends, and the radiance of light from your heart those around you. And actually, for those who like to indulge in maybe a bit too much chocolate, and it's okay. I love my chocolate, especially dark chocolate, and it's called. Uh, it's a tea blend from my friend and mentor, Andrea Haley Sankaran from her Good Gut Ayurveda website. And it's called CCF tea. And it's made from equal parts of cumin, coriander, and fennel seeds. And you can find the recipe on the goodgut.com website. Basically, it's an equal mixture of a teaspoon of cumin, coriander, and fennel seeds, all the seeds, and stew that in some hot water. And it's a powerful, uh, soothing powerhouse of digestive health benefits for gas and for bloating. Also helps with the absorption and the assimilation of nutrients, and it helps with reduce the inflammation and gives you a gentle detox as well. And so, for those of you who follow my Facebook page, and you might be on the community that I email messages to. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to be the best for your clients, or you're an individual and you're aware that you're kind of dragging a little bit, and you're willing to try something new, and yes, it requires letting go of some of your favorite foods, and it does require a little cooking, because that's cooking is that connection with the earth and with the food. And the food is the energy of the earth, it's the memory of the earth, of the soil, and everything that created that food. And when you cook just with that understanding, the food just blends with your body knows what to do with it. It just nourishes you, it nurtures you. So, anyway, if you'd like to have a conversation or be part of my little market research, I'll be asking a few questions for my next course, Trust Your Gut, Eat, Play, Thrive, Your Way to Prosperity and Wellness. Contact me at rosiesjoy11@gmail.com. So, as we always do, we will close with our magnificence cards and our other wisdom cards. So I've got my cards up here, and oh, I hear pink and purple. Okay, there's a purple. Oh, this one says, I am confident. Wherever I may be, I am in charge of my destiny. And the other purple one that was right on top, it says, I am expressive. I live life with energy and enthusiasm. So, there for your Easter Sunday. And for the other cards, we've got a windy morning here this morning. And a green card. This is really important. I have compassion for myself. When you start with yourself, have compassion for yourself. We're on this amazing journey, this adventurous journey. And sometimes it didn't come with instructions. And we're trying to figure that out. So, all is good. And so I'm going to read a quote from, hold on. Cards blowing all over the place. I'll pick them up in the garden when I'm finished. And this is from Paulo Coelho. He wrote a book called The Alchemist, which I read a month or so ago. Delightful book. It says, I can choose either to be a victim of the world, or an adventurer in search of treasure? Is all a question of how I view my life. So blessings to you, much love, and share that love of you with your family and friends. Go for a walk, be nurtured by nature. And one other little point, especially during these COVID times, take extra doses of vitamin D. Really, really important to that. And eat healthy, eat, play, thrive. Bye for now.